Hey YouTube, Untamed here. I know a lot of you guys follow my channel for the car market analysis, but I know for a fact there's still a few of you out there that appreciate this kind of older style content where I just would share with you my car buying craziness. And well, I want to do that today with you guys. This right here is my new to me 2024 Toyota 4Runner TRD Pro. Some of you are probably already taking to the keyboard and saying, wait, didn't you already own the same exact vehicle? Well, in true Untamed Motors fashion, yes, I did. I've owned this a few different times, a 4Runner TRD Pro anyway, of the 5th gen, and once before, this exact color in 2024. If you guys frequent my channel, you may recall why I sold it before. I sold my 2024 in order to make this happen, in order to streamline the process and make buying a new house much easier. And if you bought a new house before, you know that sometimes you need to make sacrifices like that, selling your beloved vehicles to make that easier for you. When it comes to debt to income, blah, 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 all that stuff. It killed me to sell it. I didn't sell it at a profit or anything. I sold it for about what I paid, a little bit less than what I paid for it after taxes. So I sold it for $57,500. I sold it real quick just to get rid of it at the time, make it easy. But man, I regretted that so much, so much. And this right here is the closest thing to a brand new example that I could have bought. Get a load of the miles. We now have 759 miles on this 2024 Toyota 4Runner TRD Pro. This was the lowest mile example within the entire country. This was by far, I mean, the next one up, I think it was 1,800 miles at the time that I was looking. There were a handful with 2,000 to 3,000 miles on them, but each of them that I found, well, the majority of them that I found were the Terra color, that kind of brownish burnt orange color. The TRD Pro exclusive color for 2024 is special, it's unique, but it's just not for me. I tried to like it. I tried my best to like it, but I just couldn't. I couldn't pull the trigger on it. A lot of those with 2,000 or 3,000 miles on them were priced right around the low $60,000 range. This one here, I almost didn't even bother calling on, if I'm being honest with you guys. The original asking price of this particular 4Runner here was $69,000. 69 grand. So I almost didn't even bother picking up the phone, right? I mean, if they're that overpriced, and I say overpriced loosely because obviously there was no other example with miles in the hundreds at this point for a 24, let alone in the underground color here. But it was just, that's too much. And I was not going to not bite the bullet and overspend by that much for my new 4Runner. But to my surprise, after calling Lithia, Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge out in Medford, Oregon, I spoke to a sales rep, a gentleman there named Garrett, and he was incredible. Let me explain why. Not only did Garrett go to bat for me with the general manager, he sent this huge email to the GM kind of explaining my situation. You know, he told him who I was and that I've owned this same exact vehicle before. And I ended up kind of quickly selling it in order to buy this, right? This is priority number one, obviously, for a family, but he told him that. And there's video documentation of me selling it for $57,500. I didn't make money on it. It wasn't that type of move by any means. It really was me just selling it to get into our house and streamlining that process. So he wrote up this huge email and sent it to the GM, unbeknownst to me. The GM then asked Garrett if he could call me. So we ended up discussing it, the GM and I. His name is Justin, at this particular dealership. And lo and behold, he actually owned and initiated some dealerships out here in Colorado back in the day. So he's Toyota dealerships. So he's very familiar with this vehicle and how special it was, of course, and perhaps with that price tag, he obviously knew very well how special it was. But he was very quick to drop the price, and I'm very grateful he did. I spent $61,000 for it. 61 grand for this 4Runner TRD Pro with 634 miles on it. And some of you will still probably think that's crazy, and I understand. I don't think I'd fault you for feeling that way, but let me know what you honestly think. I mean, there was no other, and probably still right now is no other 5th generation 4Runner with that kind of miles on it available within the US for sale. So 61 grand, I spent maybe $1,000 or $2,000 more than what I would have spent if I gotten a Terra colored TRD Pro with a couple thousand miles on it. Probably could have got one of them for about 59 pretty easily. But this here, I didn't feel like I compromised. This here is my favorite color. Between this and Voodoo Blue, offered in 2019 for the 4Runner TRD Pro, these are easily my favorite colors that are available for it. And obviously the interior, I still need to wipe it down. It kind of showed up a little bit of dust on it. The outside was completely filthy. The transport company had driven through a bunch of rain, so it got very dirty. I did run it through a touchless car wash the other day, so it's okay, but even this could use a good detail. But let me know what your thoughts are. Obviously, perfect condition on the interior. All weather floor mats in it already. It feels good to be back in a 5th generation Toyota 4Runner. This feels right to me, guys. Love it. Even the faux carbon fiber and the cheap plastics in here, it just makes sense on this vehicle. You buy a Toyota for 3 reasons. I talk about it plenty on the channel, and I mean it. Reliability, simplicity, and affordability. That's it. And this right here offers those 3 things. The affordability piece, of course, is debatable. Of course, I get it. But compared to new prices on a new 6th generation 4Runner TRD Pro, not only are you forced to have a hybridized 4-banger underneath the hood, you're spending a ton of money on it. Same goes for the Trail Hunter, of course. Brings me to today's video sponsor, and that is Last Fit Floor Liners. If you've been following my channel for any length of time, you know I don't just pimp out my channel to any company reaching out trying to offer their products, but if it's a company that I believe in and I believe in their product, I'm happy to do so and share it with you guys. If you're like me and you care for your vehicles greatly and you want to keep them nice, keep them clean, floor liners from Last Fit are a good option. They're a great option. 3D laser fitted to your specific vehicle, you can ensure that you're getting maximum coverage throughout your entire vehicle. Better than OEM floor mats, offering better coverage. Not to mention, it is made out of a premium TPE material that will withstand the test of time and really withstand the abuse that your family, in my case, my 5 little ones, are going to throw at it on a daily basis. Ironically enough, my Cadillac here did not come with any floor liners out back. They had just the soft standard floor liners up front for the driver and passenger, but beyond that, second row back, it didn't come with anything. So that needed to be addressed quickly. And I'm so grateful that I was able to get these Last Fit floor liners in here to provide that necessary protection in order to start transporting our family around with a level of peace of mind. When it comes to cleaning, super easy. Spray it with water or any kind of cleaning material that you use and just wipe it away. The coverage is exceptional, better than any other OEM or all-weather floor mats that I've ever used, so I really appreciate that. The shipping, always very quick, very rapid, and the customer service at Last Fit, second to none. Don't take it from me, give them a call and see for yourself. Hopefully, you'll like this product just as much as I do. If you're like me and you have a large family, you know for a fact that keeping your vehicle clean is dang near impossible with little ones, right? You're gonna get crumbs back there, there's gonna be goldfish, there's gonna be spills, but at least with having these Last Fit floor liners, you're gonna have much better peace of mind, I assure you. They are gonna stand the test of time. They're not gonna yellow or fade over time. Their material is not as soft as rubber, but not as hard and rigid as a polyurethane material too. So they're easy to get in and out of your vehicle, easy to pull out if you need to pull them out and clean them for whatever reason. They are great. So consider using my affiliate link in my video description below, and I'll try my best to stay up to date with the latest and greatest discount code as well. And I'll keep that populated in the description as well. Thanks. I'll show you out back. Already has the black covers for the 4Runner and the badge out back. There's the dealership. Definitely recommend working with Garrett out there. He did a great job, and Justin, a very kind general manager. And you don't always get that in today's day and age, let's face it. And even, I'll even mention Shannon. Shannon was the delivery driver that this dealership works with all the time. So it wasn't some random transport company that took the bid. It was, no kidding, their dealership's transport company that they work with all the time. And Shannon is actually an employee of the dealership, and he was incredible to work with. Some of you guys might remember, I'd actually bought a 1997 Toyota Land Cruiser, an 80 series Land Cruiser, maybe 2.5 years ago at this point, 3 years ago. And the transport company had crushed the roof of it with the double-decker trailer that they used for it. The second level of the trailer had come down in transport, the hydraulic system failed or whatever, and it crushed the ceiling of my Land Cruiser. So I'm definitely gun shy with the whole transport thing and buying a vehicle sight unseen. That was the last time I've done that until now. But thankfully, no issues took place during transit, and very, very grateful for that. So shout out Garrett, shout out Justin and Shannon from Lithia Chrysler Jeep Dodge. They all were great. But look at that, 759 miles. Do a quick startup for you, foot on the brake, push the start over here on the right. Like the high resolution center stack that we get on it, infotainment, all this. Of course, this is pretty dated, pretty dated feeling, but you don't feel like you're missing out on anything. At least I don't. I never do when I'm in here. Everything, I love all the tactile buttons that we have, the air conditioning, the controls here. This just feels right. None of it's gloss black either, so it's not going to get a bunch of fingerprints right here. Everything that you're going to be touching, for the most part, is not going to leave a bunch of fingerprints. I love the visibility, of course, in the 5th gen, all around. It's perfect. Perfect in here. So there you have it. Love the fact that we have just 759 miles now. The TRD catback exhaust, and nothing to write home to mom about. Some people actually complain with it being a little, sounding a little bit of a drony sound to it, especially when you're on a freeway, but I like it. But again, it's not anything too incredible by any means. Tell me honestly, would you have considered spending 61 grand for this? Or would you have needed to seen it in the mid 50s? Tell me the truth. What would you have done? When it comes to the actual engine, I say last real Toyota offered within the US on purpose, because it truly is. I mean, in 2024, this was the last quote-unquote old generation Toyota being offered, right? It has a pretty old and archaic 4-liter V6 underneath the hood, sports 270 horsepower and 278 foot-pounds of torque, tied to a pretty archaic but bulletproof 5-speed automatic transmission. I actually preferred the longer gears in this 5-speed comparatively to the previous generation Toyota Tacomas that had a 6-speed automatic. The previous generation Tacoma, if you recall, also had a 3.5-liter V6. This here, it just feels better. Less gear hunting by comparison. Not perfect by any means, but when it comes to reliability and peace of mind, it is perfect. And I love that. If you compare it to the 6th generation 4Runner, which I don't hate the look of it, I want to be honest, I'm not trying to totally beat up the new gens, but I just can't get over the fact that they force you to have the 2.4-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder underneath the hood and the hybridized 4-banger for like the TRD Pro and the Trail Hunter. Incredible numbers, incredible figures. I believe it's 326 horsepower and 465 foot-pounds of torque in the TRD Pro 4Runner, the 6th gen, the new one, 2025. But I just can't bring myself to do that. I have always bought my Toyotas, my 200 series Land Cruiser, the previous generation Toyota Tundras, everything, the Sequoias. Previous generations all came with a naturally aspirated, very brutish, but very reliable engine. The 5.7-liter V8 was awesome, especially tied to a TRD catback exhaust. I loved the sound of it. It was perfect. And I feel very similarly about this. I actually prefer this, like I mentioned, over the previous generation 3rd gen Tacoma that had the 3.5-liter V6, as well as that 6-speed automatic transmission. This feels better to me when it comes to the actual power delivery, in my personal opinion. I know not everybody agrees with me on that. Another thing I forgot to mention is I love the Softex leather in these seats. So it's a fake faux leather material called Softex. I love it because it ages extremely well. Don't take it from me. Go look at like a 2015 4Runner with 200,000 plus miles on it and look at the seats. They're the original seat and it'll be minor wear. This ages so well. Normally at your entry point right here will get all decrepit, torn up on most vehicles, but not here. So appreciate the Softex material here. It is very durable. One additional thing I'll throw out in this video is if you're unfamiliar with the TRD Pros, they do come with a TRD tuned Fox suspension. Love this suspension. It is more ideal for higher speed off-roading. If you're running down trails, you have a bunch of bumps in it and you're high speed off-roading, this is the most ideal setup. The TRD Off-Road has a KDSS and kinetic dynamic suspension system, which is a little bit more suited for slower off-roading. If you're going some subtle rock crawling, that's more ideal for that. But this here, higher speed off-road trail riding. Yeah, this is it, guys. I just wanted to showcase it to you and kind of talk through it. The Tundra, it deviated from their 5.7-liter V8 and affordable price tag after 2021. In 2022, they offered that Tundra TRD Pro, the new Tundra 2022, and that had that 3.5-liter twin-turbo V6 underneath the hood, or the hybridized V6 with the iForce Max. To me, that just made that platform incredibly unreliable by comparison. Obviously, the machining debris issue plaguing that nameplate has been a huge black eye for the brand totally, with a lot of engines seizing up and failing on people. That's awful. You don't buy a Toyota with that even in mind, but that's happening with those new Tundras. Same goes for the Sequoia. They did the same thing with the 3.5 liter twin turbo V6, got away from the rugged, brutish 5.7 liter V8. And same goes for the Land Cruiser. Now you have to get a 4-cylinder underneath the hood of a new LC250 Prado Land Cruiser, the only one offered within the US. So they kind of neutered and castrated all the new generation platforms. This one here was the last man standing, 2024 being the last year, the last one being offered. The Land Cruiser with the V8 went away in 2021, we all know that. The Sequoia with the V8 went away in 2022, after 22. And then, of course, the 4Runner, the last one, being 2025 with the new gen. So let me know what your thoughts are, guys. Would you have considered paying that much for it? Or did I massively overpay? Let me show you underneath. As you'd imagine, perfect underneath. No weird stories with this one either. Apparently, a gentleman who worked at the dealership, his wife had bought it for him, and he ended up just going a different direction with it. And this just kind of ended up sitting. So they put it in their showroom floor and listed it for sale, and perhaps at a very high price point, hoping maybe someone would come through and pay that. But instead, they got me calling them up and paying 61 grand. I'll wrap up the video there. Just wanted to geek out with you, showcase it to you. Obviously happy to provide more content to you guys on this, but I do feel extremely lucky and blessed to have gotten, I think, the last real Toyota ever offered within the US. Hopefully, Toyota can get their poop in the group and figure it out and start reintroducing reliable platforms that are simplistic and affordable. We'll see. Thanks for watching, guys. Until next time.